Unspeakable with JP
and Stacy
D. I am JP Craddock, and that is the wonderful Stacy D. Love. We are broadcasting remotely here on KUAW Radio.
Remember, I changed my name.
What did you change it to this time, Stacy D?
So sweet. Stacy D, so sweet.
This is JP Craddock with Stacy So Sweet
D.
The D.
Yeah, keep the D.
The D. Okay. Is it gonna be another name next week, Stacy D?
It might be.
It might. Coming up on the show today, we have our question of the day, which is it possible?
Mr. Walker, can you please turn your volume off, please?
Mr. Walker.
Yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo!
Stacy D, you gonna have to fire Mr. Walker again. Why we hear all that in the background?
We need to get back into the station.
Ooh, this remote broadcasting.
I mean, because I'm gonna really hate it, because I can do work all the way up to 1:45, so I'm really gonna hate it. But for us to get right,
we have got to be in the station. And now Mr. Walker, he rushing us to keep it moving because we on him. Nah, Mr. Walker.
He's one of October. We going back for my birthday.
Okay.
We going back for my birthday. Because Mr. Walker is one of them people that he can't work from home. He don't have enough structure to work from home.
I still hear
him back into the office.
I still hear a soap opera or something in the background. The Young, the Restless, Mr. Walker.
Do you got the Days of Our Lives or something?
Mr. Walker, who is that we hear in the background? That's it's us echoing.
Us. Okay.
Well, that ain't okay.
We hear it? Okay.
We hear
now it's quiet.
It's echoing.
Yeah, it is echoing. Our fans, we are so sorry for the unprofessionalism.
I know they hear that. There's no way they don't hear it. Okay. We might as well start this damn gum show over.
Good help is hard to find.
The question of the day today is it possible that your environment is creating or exacerbating your depression? Can you change how you feel on the inside by changing what's on the outside? Okay, so that's our question of the day. That will be coming up on the show right after mental health and illness in the news. If you want to comment or have any questions about the question of the day or mental health and illness in the news or anything else that we covered during the show, you can send your questions via Facebook or YouTube. Stacy D is monitoring Facebook, so I suggest that you send it through Facebook if you want an immediate response, because she will interrupt me in the middle of a sentence to read.
I sure will, because we can't get nothing in edgewise with JP.
Because she's crazy. Also, if you have questions for the show, you can submit them to speakingtheunspeakable0608@gmail.com. The number to call into the show is 816-599-6893. Speaking of, before we get to your check-in, Stacy D, speaking of emailing us at speakingtheunspeakable0608, Stacy D, you need to be checking the email because I posted a job position for an assistant for for the show, for us fact checking, plus you need an assistant, Stacy D, and I need another one. So we need to hire somebody, preferably for our listeners. Let me just say, because we don't want to be flooded with, because this backfired on me and Terry in the past with like hundreds of resumes. Let's
Okay, I'm
narrow
not checking
this.
it now.
We need to narrow this down. We are looking to hire preferably a student who is studying one of the mental health disciplines, which would be social work, psychology,
Woo-hoo.
counseling, or marriage and family therapy. Okay. If you majored in architecture, please do not send Stacy D your resume.
But if you did go into accounting, that'd be a good one too, though.
Why we want an accountant?
To do your billing and my billing.
Well, that's true. The good thing about a student studying one of the mental health disciplines is that I'll be able to quiz them on the air sometimes. I really want to be able to drop a couple of quiz questions like, what symptom did I leave out of such and such and such and such? See, that I need somebody to quiz. I need somebody to quiz.
Well, maybe we go back into teaching, Professor JP.
Yeah, because I'm speaking at these classes at KU, graduate classes, and I was supposed to teach for KU, and I never did because the pay.
You know what? Let me tell you. Pay me my money. Don't be. I could care less about the title because KCC called me, and then I was like, oh, okay, good opportunity. And I start adding money up.
It's ridiculous. When you factor in the prep time, you dang near paying them to show up and teach. And KU wants you to drive all the way to the Lawrence campus. Who's doing that? No. So they need to set up a virtual class for me on diagnosing. Then they got me. Okay, Stacy D, check in. What's going on with the D? What you got, D?
Actually, nothing. But let me tell you something. I'm a firm believer that a closed mouth do not get fed. And I hate that my peeps talk about I'm embarrassing them. Terry Mason, y'all see I'm doing my hair.
You done called her out.
I never called her out. Talked to her this morning too. Do not be talking about embarrassing you because I asked for half an order of waffles and chicken and waffles.
Chicken and waffles in a restaurant.
Know that I'm trying to get right for Cancun next month. So I didn't need a full order.
Stacy D, let me because by the time Terry listens to this, it's gonna be too late for her to call in. She gonna listen to this until like a day from now. On her behalf, let me say, one, we be eating at these nice restaurants on the plaza. Stacy D want a half order. Stacy D, remember you ordered that dessert, sent it back because it wasn't big enough. Because the dessert that Terry ordered was twice the size of your dessert.
So Cracker mine can't be as big as that.
That's why she gets nervous when you get ready to start asking questions, because it's like, oh, what's about to happen?
I don't ask nasty. I'm like, well, what do you think? Can I? And they, hi.
And
did you freeze? Because I'm not froze. And Mr. Walker is not sitting in his seat to help us. You froze, JP. So can you say that again, please?
Am I frozen?
You were.
Can you hear me though?
For a minute we couldn't.
Okay, but I'm frozen.
Now you're not. You're talking to me.
Okay, because Mr. Walker has left his station.
I told you, good help is hard to find.
Remote broadcast.
You must have heard us talking about it.
Okay. But Stacy D, I will say on your behalf, you did have you're right about what did he say?
I don't know.
What did Mr. Walker say?
He said something about Stacy. Don't start nothing, Stacy.
But Mr. Walker's like, quit starting mess with me. Okay, listen, you are right about closed mouth does not get fed, because you did ask our server a very good question while I was trying to make a reservation for a party, for a birthday party. And so that you right, Stacy D, but we don't know when you're gonna start sending food back, changing the menu. Can y'all do this? Can y'all do that?
But when you go to certain but you guys, when you do go to certain places, if you're not a frequent flyer, they have other things that don't even be on the menu.
So it don't hurt to ask.
It doesn't do not hurt to ask, because my favorite restaurant is Houston's, and I still cry that I cannot go up in there. And they had a lot of things that were not on the menu, but I knew the menu by heart.
If you are dining with Stacy D, be prepared.
Be prepared.
If she don't know what's on the menu, she gonna try to change the menu. And if the food don't come out right, she gonna send it back.
Yeah. That's true. But Mr. Walker left the building again. He done left the building again.
Who, Mr. Walker? Am I frozen?
No, you're not. But he's
okay. Okay, well, here's my check-in. Stacy D, do you know what company picks up your trash? Who picks up your trash?
I have two different companies.
Deaf and Ball?
Hell no. Mm-hmm.
Who's in your hood?
It's a white and yellow green truck and a green and white truck. But it's white with green, but it's not Deaf and Bob at all.
Okay. Well,
so did you have a fight with the trash man?
I just realized I think I'm in a war with the trash company. Every week they do something.
They do.
So yesterday they decided to take it to another level. I'm in the bathroom getting ready to get in the shower. I hear the truck pull up. So I decide, let me look outside and see what kind of stupidity might pop off today. I look up, they threw my trash can in the middle of the street after emptying it, and allowed one of my recyclables, an empty bleach bottle, to roll across the street, and it's just sitting there. Okay. Now, mind you, I'm in the bathroom like butt naked trying to get in the shower. So I'm hollering, like trying to get Nadine's attention to let her know that the trash people were outside tripping. Okay. And we need to be taken, because I wasn't thinking of,
go outside.
I wasn't thinking about the Ring camera thing. I totally forgot that we captured it all on video anyway. So anyway, I'm infuriated. I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of this, and I'm telling. Okay, you know how the kids, I'm telling. I'm calling the company. Okay, I'm going, as soon as I get out this shower, I'm going out there and taking pictures, and I'm calling the trash company to say, enough is enough. I don't know why we fighting. We've been fighting for a couple of months now. What's y'all's problem? Why is my can out in the middle of the street?
So hold on, everybody. What started this love-hate relationship with you and the trash people? What did you do?
I put a toilet outside. I put a toilet outside. My brother-in-law told me that they would pick up a toilet. And so I put it outside. They took everything but that toilet, okay? Why do I have to carry that toilet back in my damn house? Because you can't leave a toilet out in front of your house.
Well,
it's
disgusting. If it's a toilet that you, at least you should have beat it up and put it in a bag. Or if you had to put it in a bag, they would have took it also. Because
these fools are ridiculous, okay? They tripped off the toilet. They trip because, you know, your brush, you're supposed to put it in the paper bags. But I was like, well, it'll fit in one of my trash cans. Why am I outside on a windy day trying to keep this bag open and put my leaves in the bag?
Or you can tie it up. Was it brush or leaves?
It was leaves and brush, some sticks.
Okay. The reason why they want it in the bag is because they take it to the compost center like that. Okay, there's a reason behind the madness. Save the world.
Okay, Well, they tripped about that.
Yes.
They tripped. My brother-in-law, he had replaced part of the ceiling and
There go
had put
EJ always messing up something.
AJ. He
AJ.
put that in a can, and it was real heavy. It was real heavy. It was heavy, like it was 4 bodies in the can. But I split it up into 2 cans, and they still didn't take it. So these people are mad at me, and they tripped. Okay.
Okay. So guess what? You put it in cans, you put them in bags.
No, because I figure nobody uses bags in my neighborhood. I don't really see bags except the bags for the leaves. I figure the foods won't take
use trash bags.
Oh, those we do use. Nadine did buy those big black bags.
That's what you put that in. And then also you have to call and ask for big pickup. And then they'll schedule a day to come get all that big pickups of the stuff that's real heavy. So we're doing a check-in. As we see, JP did not follow the rules.
Well, let me tell you what happened though. I did end up finding out about the pickup. Yes. When I got out of the shower and dressed to go outside to take pictures, my trash can was neatly placed on the sidewalk, and the trash that had flown across the street was picked up. One of my neighbors, bless him, had cleaned up this mess. I needed this mess to stay in place though. So I decided to restage the scene. So I put that can back out in the street. I went and got another bleach bottle and put it across the street. Here's the problem. While I was restaging the scene, one of my neighbors came home. So it looked like I was setting up the trash company. And so I'm setting this out. I got my phone. And he real old. And he's like, Gerald, what's going on? What's going on there? I said, listen, I know how this looks. It looks like I'm like setting up the trash company. I am not. This stuff was out in the street like this earlier this morning. One of the neighbors cleaned it up. I'm just restaging the scene so I can take the pictures for when I call and complain. He looking at me, giving me the side eye like, you up to something shady. Anyway, I called them. They did say, because I said, listen, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why we having a war, but let's fix the problem. She did tell me about the pickup, because I said, and they didn't take my toilet. Okay. And I got a toilet sitting in my garage, which is not okay. And she's like, here's what she said. You have to remove the tank from the bowl. And I said, I think I did. Because they are removed. She's like, okay, we will schedule a big pickup. But anyway, I have always had a good relationship with Deaf and Bald because they hire felons. Okay. Yes, and so when I have had court-ordered clients coming out of prison, and the PO give them a certain amount of time before they got to find a job. For those who do not find one in time, I have referred them to Deaf and Bald to get a job. So I'm like, I thought we was friends. Y'all hire my people fresh out of prison. I'm referring them to you. Why you refuse to take my toilet? Like, come on, why my can out in the middle of the street? I end up telling my neighbor this story, and I could tell by the look on his face, he got frozen when I got to the part about the felons and court order to treat and fresh out of, and he didn't hear nothing else I said after that. So he's nervous. I'm like, listen, these people need a job. People need a job. Like, you don't want somebody it doesn't make sense for a person to go back to prison because they ain't got no dang job when they can get out here and pick up toilets when I set it out, okay?
Set out the wrong day on the wrong time.
I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, I'm glad that you do not have problems with your people. I'm having problems with my people.
Well, let's move on to mental health in the news.
Mental health and illness in the news. All right. I'm gonna do a quick little COVID update. They are saying that we are experiencing mutations of the coronavirus because we have not achieved herd immunity because only half of the country is vaccinated. And so until we achieve herd immunity, there will be more and more variants. There's the Delta variant, and then I think there's another one cropping up. And so this is interesting because what this essentially means is that we are never going to achieve herd immunity because Americans, when they dig their feet in about something that they are not going to do, they're not going to do it. So Americans, be prepared. You will be living the rest of your life in a pandemic. Now, they have decided—
you're not getting no more stimulus checks.
Well, there ain't enough money to cover us forever. All right. There is now, because people have began to forge vaccination cards, you can get a 5-year sentence for forging.
What?
Yes. Don't make a fake COVID vaccination card. You can get 5 years in the pen. Okay. Because people are making them, they're buying them, they're selling them because employers.
Okay.
Yeah, employers are starting to say, listen, we need to know that you're vaccinated. Don't come up in here and you're not vaccinated.
The school districts are mandating.
Right. And so they have decided, okay, we are going to prosecute you for this. Do not do it. At this time, we're experiencing 500 deaths per day due to COVID, according to Johns Hopkins. So there's desperation on multiple levels. People are just as desperate to get everybody vaccinated as people are desperate to avoid being vaccinated. And so it's just an ongoing battle. All right, here's the next story. Did I talk about Target before? Did I talk about Target paying tuition?
Not with me.
Target is paying 100% tuition for its employees. Yes. This is for both full-time and part-time employees, everything from GED classes, ESL classes, on up to a bachelor's degree. And if you want a master's, they'll pay $10,000 a year for that. Wow. Apparently, Target is not the only one offering college tuition reimbursement. Walmart, Chipotle, Starbucks, all these other companies are offering this. This is amazing. I want everybody to know this because back in the day when I went to grad school, I was working for an actual mental health center that didn't pay crap.
Didn't pay nothing. Nothing.
So.
And then they had a nerve to be for profit, so we couldn't even get anything forgiven.
Right. So hence you have so many people who have dedicated their lives to working in mental health, and they are like plagued with these student loans. Listen, people, go get you a job at Target. I got a client who works at Target. I'm going to ask him, how much schooling do you have? Because you work full-time at Target, you can get a free bachelor's degree, which is worth what, 40, 50 grand nowadays? Do not pass up on $40,000, $50,000.
Easily.
Okay, here's the last story. The father, his name is Anthony Spinelli of New Hampshire, who set off 80 pounds of explosives at his gender reveal party. This is a happy father, okay? This is an excited father. They had a gender reveal party. This fool set off 80 pounds of explosives that people could hear the explosions from like towns away. He put cracks in the foundation of his neighbor's house.
I bet he did. No, King did that for 4th of July one time, and we had to replace windows. We had to replace neighbors' windows.
Full explosives.
It was what they do, them half sticks of dynamite.
Half sticks.
Yeah, we did one, and it was the funny part was seeing him run after he lit it. Okay, I hope he don't watch this video. Everybody, King is 6'5", about 275 pounds. So can you imagine this 50-year-old man lightning at you and run?
Trying to run to get away from a half stick of dynamite.
Woo,
well,
that was fun.
That sounds hilarious. But we talking about 80 pounds.
80 pounds.
This man could have leveled
a whole lot of stuff.
He could have leveled somebody's house with that much dynamite.
A building. He could have did a building. What are you saying? A building.
When this story came on, I busted out laughing. They fined him $620. $500 of it he can get back. Okay. He pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct. And Nadine was like, why are you laughing at that? What is funny about that? I'm like, this is an excited father. This man is excited to be having a baby. Okay.
He's very excited.
I love my baby, but let me tell you, I was not excited enough to like blow up the neighborhood at the gender reveal part. So that is mental health and illness, because he's crazy. In the news.
He was happy and excited.
In the news. Okay, question of the day. Is it possible? Ooh, we 3 minutes early on the question of the day. Okay, we're right on track. Is it possible that your environment is creating or exacerbating your depression? Can you change how you feel on the inside by changing what's on the outside? This is a really good question. I had a client who would spend her winters in like Florida or somewhere and spend the rest of the year here. And what we noticed is that the part of the year that she spends here with her family, who is full of chaos and drama, her anxiety levels would be through the roof, and her depression levels would be through the roof, measurable via the GAD and the PHQ-9. Her symptoms would be out of control. And so what I talked to her about is her anxiety and depression are externally triggered. It's her people.
Her environment.
Yes. What also makes me think about this is with a lot of teenagers tend to sometimes end up with frenemies, which are fake friends that are really their enemies, but they call them friends, like mean girls that they hang out with and different things like that. And I have noticed that in some of my adolescent clients, I have had teenagers whose so-called friends have told them, you really need to go on and commit suicide.
Yeah.
Like you ain't thought about that? Because you probably should. They do not, it's passive aggression. Kids who do not like each other will hang out with each other and just be mean within that circle. And so adolescent depression, a lot of times parents need to take a look at the environment. Like, who are they hanging out with? What are the dynamics of these peer relationships, as well as other things that can be a contributing factor in people experiencing depression. So we have teens who have frenemies, adults who I see many clients, usually through EAP, who work at a job that they absolutely hate.
Yes.
And when they leave that job, the depression lifts when they finally find a job that they enjoy. So that's another example. Another example, married people who stay in a bad marriage far beyond the time that the marriage is dead. I'm talking the marriage is a corpse that needs to be buried and they clinging to it. All of these are external situations. Now, diagnostically, the actual diagnosis for this would be adjustment disorder with depression or adjustment disorder with anxiety if there's anxiety, or the combination of the two, adjustment disorder with mixed anxiety and depression.
And
but
we
the
have
symptoms,
those before.
which we have covered.
Mm-hmm.
And so anybody who wants to know about those, visit our Facebook page. All of our previous episodes are on there, also on the YouTube channel. When it comes to depression, and also on our page, we uploaded the PHQ-9 when we covered depression and assessing for it and the symptoms. I want to remind everyone, even though the PHQ-9 is on our Facebook page, downloadable for you to complete it and diagnose yourself with depression, we still encourage you. What'd you say, Stacy D?
Or your friends.
Or your friends, or whoever you want to diagnose with it, it's there. So start dropping diagnoses. But we still encourage, if you score high enough, we still encourage you to have an actual clinician do a full assessment, because the PHQ-9 is only 9 questions. It leaves off 3 symptoms of depression, one of which is irritability. Little known, people do not realize that you don't have to be sad and down to be depressed.
And we covered that before too.
Yes, you can be irritable. The other symptom that is not on that PHQ-9 is isolativeness, not want to be around anybody. And then apathy is the third one. And apathy is not caring. And when a depressed person tells you they don't care, they mean it. They don't care. Like, really, because your light's about to be turned off. So I don't care, really, because you got an eviction notice like right here. I don't care. I'm going back to bed. So that's enough about the PHQ-9. I want, because we talk about depression and assessing and the symptoms, we have not really gotten into what to do about it. For those of you who are experiencing depression or anxiety, because the two tend to go hand in hand, and it is connected to your environment, either people, places, things, or situations that are a part of your life, change those situations.
Change them.
Now, I know this is easier said than done, but when you live in a world that is literally depressing you, you have no choice. Yes, you can go see a therapist, but these are clients who we spend session after session after session processing the chaos and the drama in their lives, but they don't remove themselves from it. They don't do anything about it. And so therapy just becomes coping with it as opposed to eliminating it. And I don't have a problem with teaching people coping skills, but isn't it better to eliminate the problem? Yes, this is difficult when it is family members, but if certain family members...
So Gerald, can we give them some examples? If, like you said, with a family member, how would you feel like, okay, let's say for instance, a mother who has grown children and they just stress her out. How, because I'm not going to say what I would do, but what would be some of the ways how she can eliminate that or make it a better situation? Because a mother's love is so genuine and we love our children. But what are some ways by you being a father that you would do it to make it more healthier? Because that's what we're trying to do, is make healthier relationships so it'll make you healthier.
Right. Yeah. And this is a good question, because when it comes to it being your kids, you can't weed your kids out. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, your third cousin twice removed, you can be like, don't ever call me again. But it's your kids. When it is a person's children who is causing the stress, which is extremely common. I see this every day. What we do is identify the specific ways in which they are creating all this stress, and then set limits, set boundaries. For example, this week, a parent with a full-grown child is like, listen,
adult child.
My kid been living in my house for years, makes enough money to afford his own place, but has ran up and continues to run up credit card debt, shopping, buying this, buying that, stereo systems for his, lowrider, all of that.
Rims.
Yes, rims, and is planning to never move out of my house. And
going out of town whenever there's something to go out of town for.
Kicking it. Because he ain't got no rent to pay. In his 30s living at home. And so in that instance, because the parent is miserable because of this, because it's like, I need for this grown man to get out of my house. So we talked about, you can't weed your kid out. You can set limits. You can sit down and say, listen, in order for you to remain here, I got to get up in your financial business. We're going to take a look at how much money you make, and we're going to start budgeting. We're going to start coming up with a savings plan, so that you can save the money and manage your money better so that you can get out of my damn house.
And if they don't go for that, let me tell you what you do. You go uptown and you get an eviction notice and put it on their bedroom door.
Because you can't evict your kids when they grown.
You sure can.
You can't evict your kids.
And when they was like, Mama, what is this? I love you, baby, but you got to
go. You are officially evicted. Because what people don't realize is you can't just put a grown fool out your house. If they are receiving mail at your house, they are a tenant, even if you are not collecting rent. So,
and then if you get a child that says, Mama, regardless if I'm here or not, you still got to pay bills. Then, because they're grown now, ain't nobody going to call the po-po on me doing no adult child abuse. You step on their foot so they can't go nowhere.
Stacy D giving tips on how to abuse your adult child.
Adult child, and no one's gonna call the po-po no more.
It ain't child abuse. They're an adult.
There it is. And they're not gonna hit you back because they know you can't get down.
Get with them. Yes. Sometimes, seriously, people have to evict their kids. But when it is loved ones like your kids, I see a lot of clients who their parents or their in-laws, especially people who have like the mother-in-law from hell and all of that. It's about setting limits, identifying how they are crossing the line and causing you to have anxiety or depression, and just setting some limits like, no, we're not doing that anymore. I'm not tolerating that anymore. You don't get to treat me that way. You don't get to come to my house.
For your phone calls.
Right. You don't get to come to my house, insult my cooking, insult my parenting, tell me I ain't taking good enough care of your child, and then leave. Like, no, I need you to stay at your own house, mother-in-law. I need you to stay at your own damn house. Okay. So that's when it's family members who you really can't ditch them. You set limits with them. But if it is a family member that you can weed them out, and it depends on the severity of how they are disrupting your life. But sometimes you have to tell Cousin Pookie, I'm through dealing with you. Now we can speak at a family reunion, but you coming over, hanging out, it's over. I'm done. I'm done, Cousin Pookie.
That is just about setting. That is about setting those limits. I mean, real quick, when we're talking about our parents, and JP and I were raised most definitely in the respect era. And I remember, like, believe it or not, you guys, in my 20s and 30s, I used to be a little wild. And I just love to kick it and have fun. So, mind you, I'm 25, 30 years old, not living in my mom's home, but my kids will call and tell on me. So then I will get a backlash, and I ain't gonna front. Lynetha Cole wasn't no junk at all. She wasn't no punk, no junk, none of that. When she would call going off on me, I just would lay the phone down because I was not gonna hang up because she'll roll over and kick the door in. And I'd go back and I'd be like, Mama, you're really stressing me out. Oh, I'm gonna stress something else out. But yeah, I mean, those are different things that you know, that I would just not hang the phone up, but just lay it down and come back and pick it up and she'll still be going. But you know, those are little different things that I wouldn't feel so stressed because I'm not hearing all the things that she's saying about me. So that was me putting those limits. I was just putting those limits. But let me tell you, if my daughters hang up on me again, I'm gonna have to pick up some of Lynetha Cole's codes. I'm kicking indoors.
And roll over there and kick in the door.
That
was a good piece of advice though, because I do also see this a lot where some people just have family members where the family members have basically elected them as the confidant. They the family therapist for the whole family, and they call and they unload all their problems on them, and it zaps their energy. It creates symptoms of anxiety for them, especially if they also feel like the family members are wanting them to kind of solve some of these problems for them, especially financial problems. So it's like, I got family members calling me because they can't pay their rent, and I'm dang near giving them my rent money to pay their rent. Really that's when you might want to.
Yeah, because success can be a curse and a blessing. It could be I know.
Yes. And so for those situations like what you were describing, Stacy D, where you got family members and they calling and they just are just emotionally purging, lay the phone down.
Lay the phone down.
Because
pick it up. Because once they say hello, they're gonna hang up. So you didn't hang up on them.
Well, there's some family members. I have some family members that I can just hold the phone and not say anything for like 10, 15 minutes. And they just talk. They don't even notice that I'm not speaking. Those are the kind of fools you can lay that phone down.
Lay the phone down.
And go make you a sandwich, watch your show, and come back and pick it up. What? No, they did.
Let's pray.
And then put the phone back down. Put the phone back down and walk away. So, which is a way of setting boundaries and setting limits. Of course, the most upfront, direct way is to say, hey, I can't do this right now. I am not in a place emotionally where I can handle all of your stuff. I love you. I care about the fact that you're struggling, but I'm struggling. And so let me call you back, when I'm in a better place to try to help you with all of these problems. And then just don't ever call back. You ain't got
that's to setting those boundaries, but that's setting those boundaries and those limits up. I mean, seriously.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has to be done. Okay. Any other thoughts on that, Stacy D? Because I do have some modern parenting questions.
Oh, well, let's give it to me. Let me hear it.
Okay. I'm gonna let you give your advice and suggestions on this first, Stacy D. All right. One of my kids has decided that they don't want to do chores anymore.
Oh!
How Stacy, do you have suggestions for that?
They're going on strike.
On full-blown strike, apparently.
You know what? Ask Stacy Head's kids about the kids going on strike. It was a rebellion. Oh, Lord.
What happened? What happened?
They went on strike on me, Jeffy. And and mind you, I was a little ignorant. Because guess what I did? I went on strike too.
Oh, I already love it.
Yes, I went on strike also. There wasn't no washing powder to wash your clothes. I turned the cable off. Now that was before internet, you guys, okay? Because because all my babies are 80 babies. Turned the internet out. Turned the cable off. Because my philosophy is I go to work and make the house safe and wonderful, comfortable for you. So while I'm at work, you only have two jobs. Bring me good grades from school and assist with me in keeping the home clean. Because I'm old school, so I did cleaning myself. But from the day to day, to keep the house clean from day to day. And that consists of washing the dishes, vacuuming and those type of things. Because on Saturday mornings, once again, I'm still old school. We would get up at 7 o'clock and strip down, clean the house, changing sheets and all that. So yeah, I went on strike. I wouldn't let them eat nothing but peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And you couldn't have no milk. And you know how peanut butter get on your tongue? You better get some water. It got stuck. And that's exactly, the cable was turned off. And then I went into their bedrooms and I took all those Jordans. And back then it was Tommy Hilfiger and all that. And I locked it in my room. You on strike? I'm on strike. There Keep on, the lights about to get turned off because I go live with my mama.
The D will roll up, live with her mama, and leave them in her dark house.
Mama. Y'all be up in here with no lights. Y'all already know I have no cable.
Right. And leave kids on strike in a dark house. Wonderful
Then they want to have a family meeting.
Because mama's on strike.
My kids was off the chain because I was a little bit, because my parenting style was a little bit out the box because I was so I didn't want to do that with my children. Maybe I should have, but I was out the box, so they'll call a family meeting on me. And so then we had to go through negotiations and they went on strike because they felt that they were not getting enough money for allowance for cleaning the house up.
So a lot of kids don't get any allowance.
Guess what? I never got allowance.
I didn't get no allowance for doing no chores.
Doing no chores.
When I see kids who their complaint is, I'm done doing chores because I'm not getting paid, what I explain to them is, let's do the math on this mess. I'll ask the parent, tell the kids how much you pay to keep this house afloat. The mortgage, the gas, the lights, the water, the cable. Cable is $200 a month now, okay? How much you pay, and you work 40 hours a week, and their expectation is to do a chore that takes about 1 hour a day, tops, which means they doing 5 hours of work a week. I explain to kids, your contribution to running and keeping the household afloat is about 3%.
That's
if that. The parent has to pay for everything else, plus feed you, plus clothe you, plus this, plus that. Like,
plus buy you a car, because all these kids think they're supposed to have. Did you have a car in high school? Kelly had a car, because Kelly rode everybody around. I didn't even have a car in high school. What are you talking about?
Let me tell you, I drove a Chevy Citation. The only part that wasn't dented up was the hood.
Time out.
The only thing that wasn't dented up was the hood. Yes. Let me tell you. Actually, the hood was dented up too. The only part that wasn't dented up was the roof. Let me tell you. Okay, so, but here's the thing. Everything that you said, Stacy D, is absolutely correct, because that is way to, when parents go on strike, that is a wonderful way to show your kids what your contribution is compared to their contribution. So them not, even if you're not paying them allowance, it's like, well, you may be doing chores for free, but in exchange, you get a roof over your head and food
Everything
and
else
clothes
you want, all those
and gas and lights and water and cable. And these game systems are ridiculously expensive. And kids always want a new game system for Christmas.
And now these my grandchildren are talking about some robo bucks. What the hell is a robo buck? It's too many bucks out here. I can't handle it.
It's so many different bucks out there to pay kids to help take care of a house that they get to live in for free.
For free.
Here is another thing, and Nadine and I have done this. I will take all the kids' crap to the pawn shop and pawn it and let them know, here's your ticket and it has an expiration date. The money from pawning your crap, we gonna give it to the other kids to pay them for doing your chore. You have until the expiration date on this ticket to decide that you off strike, to start doing chores, to earn allowance, to come and get your crap out the pawn shop. I do not care. I will pawn a kid's crap. I will threaten to run over a kid's crap in the driveway. We didn't play that up in here, okay? Oh, yes. When you tell a kid you're going to throw their video game system out into the drive, let me catch you sneaking on the game system again and watch me throw it out in the driveway and peel out over it.
Yeah, because I don't believe in taking it. If I tell you not to do it, don't do it. If I tell you not to play with it, don't play with it. My oldest son was real bad about that because I think he actually thought he was smarter than me or something. Yeah. He
There's always at least one kid that think they smart.
Oh, hell, I got two of them. The oldest and the youngest. The alpha and the alpha and omega, honey. They think they're smarter than me. But remember, my blood runs through you.
Right. And for those kids that think they smarter than you, you just have to show them, I'm taking care of you. You're not taking care of me. I'm handling business that you wouldn't be able to even comprehend. You are not smarter than me. Because if you allow your kids to outsmart you or to think that they are smarter than you, the negative behaviors will skyrocket.
Yes,
that's when the real foolishness comes out. When they like, I think I'm smarter than
I got one over on this one.
Right. The other thing that parents can't afford is for kids to think like they can physically overpower you. Because that's when kids start bullying parents, slapping parents around. Parents look up, they picking themselves up off the floor.
You know, I have dealt with that, but I just can't handle it because I would kill it. Did I say that?
It already slipped out.
It wouldn't be here. But you know, my kids are so ignorant that guess what? If one was to bully me like that, the other three would get on them. What you're not gonna do is do that to my mama. Like I'm not all their mama, you know. So
well, that's how it's supposed to be, though.
That's how they.
Yes, this is I'm so glad you touched on this. We could probably do a whole segment.
Whole nother segment on that. Yes.
Raise your children to be loyal to each other, but to remember to be more loyal to you than they are to each other. Because when kids come together and they are basically against you and they are more loyal to each other than they are to you, that can turn your household upside down also.
Upside down. They can really go on. They can really go on strike things.
Yes. And you know, and this is a common problem for foster parents. Because for Nadine and I, when we were foster parents, the kids, when a new kid comes in the house, they immediately try to align with the kids against the parents to see what all can we get away with, what all can we sneak and do, where they keep their money, where's the safe at, This is what they do. And so we always taught our kids, don't let us catch you being more loyal to them than you are to us, because as soon as we figure that out, I'm going to refer you to them to buy all your school clothes. I'm going to refer you to them for all of your entertainment. And Nadine and I would spend $200 every weekend on entertainment for our foster kids. We had a $800 a month budget on entertainment because it costs a lot of money to do every damn thing. It don't matter if you going to the movies. By the time you pay for movie tickets,
remember when we used to have $5 and we can go to the movies with $5, get some ice, get some popcorn, a drink, and then go to the fun factory and play some games. Wow, $5 was really a lot.
$5, you lucky if they let you park in the parking lot of the movie theater for $5. You ain't getting crap for $5. And so once we would do that with the kids and be like, oh, so those are your parents then, because you align with them against us, then they need to take care of you. Now we about to go clothes shopping because I'm a shopper and I buy kids clothes all throughout the year. Go clothes shopping and ask them why you
shopping and summer clothes. I didn't do that because I buy all year.
All during the year. And our kids wear clothes from the same places we get our clothes. And so it's like, hold up, you aligned yourself with them, but now we out shopping and you picking up clothes. You need to ask them to buy you your clothes. Mm-hmm. They need to buy your clothes, and for Christmas, they need to buy all your Christmas gifts. And when we go to the movies, they need to pay the price of your ticket and buy your popcorn and Do not be more loyal. This is so important for parents. Never allow your kids to be more loyal to each other than they are to you. They need to be loyal to each other. You can't send your kids off to school and they standing by watching somebody beat the crap out their brother or sister. No.
Oh, because I'm gonna come home and get you.
Right.
Don't do it.
But they need to understand there's a hierarchy, and y'all's loyalty to each other, it stops at a certain point. Okay.
At a certain point.
So I'm glad that you mentioned that. That's very important. All right, Dee, any other thoughts on this?
Nope, none at all. This was really a good show. That's what we say every week, don't we?
Yes, we do. We rarely have enough time to get around to modern parenting questions, but you all can still submit your modern parenting questions to us and we will get to those questions. So I'm glad that we got to a modern parenting question today. We got like 2 or 3 more though.
Yes, and I just want to say happy school days to everyone that's entering school this week and the first of next week. I know you have that order on wearing your mask, but it's to protect you and everyone else too. So
I don't think all districts are requiring it because there's full-on feuds and people screaming and cussing and going off on the news about their kid wearing masks. There are a lot of parents out there who are refusing.
They're refusing, so that means they're going to be doing it at home then, because that's your other alternative. Most school districts do have an alternative. If you don't want your child to do that, to have that mask on all day, then you can still do virtual school.
So they're still going to offer virtual?
In most districts, not all, but most districts.
Okay. All right. Well, to parents and kids heading into the schools, please be safe and make decisions that are not only in your best interest health-wise, but in the best interest of your peers. Anytime we have up to 23,000 kids being diagnosed with COVID in a single week, Florida had 13,000 last week? This is a problem. So ask yourself, does it make sense to be fighting over masks when we have that many kids ending up in the hospitals and being diagnosed and all of this with COVID? Come on, people, pull it together, have some sense. All right, thank you for joining us today. And remember, worry about nothing.
And pray about everything.
Thank you for joining us, and God bless.
Bye-bye now.